Right, so check this. Have you ever heard of this guy, DougDoug?
DougDoug, yeah, I know him. He's the YouTuber, does a lot of like crazy gaming stuff.
Right, exactly. So he had this idea to try and see if his Twitch chat could fly a plane in GTA 5.
Wait, really? Like using the chat commands to actually control the plane?
Yeah. So we're going to deep dive into this whole thing today, see what happened, and more importantly, see if a crowd can actually be intelligent, you know? Like that whole idea of the wisdom of the crowd.
That's fascinating. I mean, you'd think it'd just be total chaos, right?
Right. Well, let's see. So, okay, Doug sets up this whole system, and his viewers in chat can control a plane in GTA 5 just by typing commands. You know, stuff like drive, look up, look down, look left, all that stuff.
So just basic commands, really. You'd think that'd make it, easy to fly.
Yeah, you would think.
Mm.
But nope. The early attempts, well, it's a disaster. Total disaster. I mean, the plane's spinning out of control, diving, clipping buildings, basically just like causing mayhem all over the virtual skies of Los Santos.
Sounds about right. It's Twitch chat, after all.
Yeah. Well, the best part is Doug's reactions. The guy's hilarious. Like at one point he yells, "That would be fine at Fing Delta, but we have standards."
Oh my God.
And then later on he's like threatening to kick someone in the D for vaping in his fictional laboratories or something.
It's amazing how he can make anything entertaining.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what's interesting is amidst all the chaos, you start to see these glimpses of actual strategy.
Yeah.
Like the chat starts figuring things out, like they're learning as they go.
Like they're evolving.
Exactly. It's like internet evolution in action. The bad commands get weeded out, and the good ones, well, they start taking over. So after a ton of crashes and explosions, Doug decides he's got to do something to wrangle this chaos. So he splits the chat into teams, each with a specific job, kind of based on their qualifications, let's call it.
Okay, this sounds interesting. So how do you divide them?
Well, he's got this group called the High Flyers, and these are the people who claim to have flown at least 10 times in real life.
Oh, wow. So like actual experience flying.
Right. And they're the ones who get to control the up and down commands.
Yeah.
Then there's this other group, the murderers.
The what?
You heard me right. The murderers.
Oh my God, that is so DougDoug.
I know, right? And they're in charge of driving the plane in reverse.
Wait, driving in reverse in a plane?
Well, it is GTA.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm already loving this.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So you got this mix of people with real experience, people who've done some questionable things, and then your average Twitch chat user.
This is going to be good.
It is. And then you've got everybody else just like the rest of Twitch chat, and they control the left and right commands.
Right. So you got this like bizarre mix of expertise and chaos all trying to work together.
Oh, yeah. Definitely sounds like a recipe for disaster, right?
Well, it kind of is, but it's also surprisingly effective in a way.
Really?
Yeah. Like you start seeing these patterns emerge,
Yeah.
Think about it. It's like in any complex system, right? Whether it's like an ant colony or even like the human brain, you need these specialized units all working together to actually achieve something bigger.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
And Doug's experiment, well, it's kind of like mimicking that process. It's like he's building this weird digital organism, one Twitch command at a time.
So what happens? Do they actually manage to get this plane off the ground?
Well, it's definitely a bumpy ride. Let's just say that.
I bet.
There are these moments where everything just clicks, and the plane like soars through the air. It's amazing.
Wow.
But then, of course, there are those other moments where it looks like, well, a drunken monkey is at the controls.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I mean, trying to land the plane with thousands of people yelling out different commands, it's got to be pure chaos.
Oh, yeah. There's this one part where they're coming in for a landing, right? And the plane starts to stall.
Uh-oh.
And Doug just yells out, "Everyone span look up."
Oh, my God.
I could just picture the chat exploding with look up commands.
Like a digital stampede?
Yeah, exactly. And for a second, it actually works. The plane levels out. They're almost there. Well, I don't want to spoil the ending, but let's just say it doesn't go exactly as planned.
Typical Twitch chat.
Right. But, it makes you think, like,
Awful.
is there actually something to this whole collective intelligence thing? Or is it just a bunch of random people stumbling around until they accidentally find a solution?
That's the big question, isn't it?
I mean, it is just a video game at the end of the day.
Yeah, true.
But, even in a simplified world like GTA 5, we see some interesting things happening. It's not about proving that collective intelligence can solve every problem. It's more about, like, exploring the possibilities and, seeing what might be possible in the future.
Exactly. And Doug has this amazing ability to take something super complex and make it funny and accessible.
He really does.
Like he's making us think about these big ideas without even realizing it.
Okay, so let's take this idea outside of video games for a second. Where could we actually use this kind of crowdsourced problem solving in the real world?
Well, the possibilities are huge. I mean, imagine using it to tackle like climate change or poverty.
Wow.
What if we could crowdsource solutions to these like massive global challenges?
Sounds kind of crazy.
It does, but Doug's experiment shows us that it might actually be possible.
Okay, but how do we go from a video game to like curing a disease?
Well, it's a big jump,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah,
But it's not impossible. We're already seeing this kind of thinking in action,
really.
Yeah, there are these platforms popping up that let scientists tap into like citizen scientists to help analyze data and run experiments. It's still early, but it's definitely growing.
So you're saying that Doug, the guy who plays video games for a living, might actually be onto something.
Well, I don't know about that, but he's definitely stumbled across something powerful.
Like what?
Well, it's like this. Humans are social creatures, right? We love to collaborate and we can do amazing things when we work together. And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. It's not just about the entertainment, it's about realizing that even in the craziest corners of the internet, there's this potential for us to use our collective brain power to actually make a difference.
That's a really cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really makes you think, what if instead of everybody like yelling at each other online,
Yeah.
we could actually use that energy to, work together.
Right. Like imagine if we could harness that power to solve problems.
Exactly. Like if Twitch chat can almost fly a plane in GTA 5,
Yeah.
think what we could do with like a global network of people who actually want to make a difference.
The possibilities are huge.
Right. But how do we bridge that gap, though,
Yeah.
from a video game to actually using collective intelligence to, make real change?
Yeah, that's the tricky part.
Like how do we go from flying a plane in GTA to developing a cure for a disease or something?
Well, it's a big jump for sure, but it's not impossible.
Okay. So how do we get there?
Well, I think we're already starting to see some of the pieces falling into place.
Like what?
Well, think about all the platforms that are popping up that are connecting researchers with citizen scientists.
Oh, right.
People are already contributing to real scientific research from their own homes,
That's pretty cool.
It is. And as technology gets better and more people get involved, I think we're going to see a lot more of this.
So you're telling me that Doug, this guy who makes funny videos about video games, could actually be like a visionary or something?
Well, I don't know about visionary, but he's definitely onto something.
Okay, I'll bite. What's he onto?
Well, he's showing us that even when things seem totally chaotic, there's still this underlying human desire to connect and collaborate.
We're social creatures after all, right?
Exactly. And when we work together, well, amazing things can happen.
So it's not just about the laughs in his videos. It's about the potential, the potential for us to actually use our collective intelligence to do some good in the world.
Absolutely. And maybe someday we'll look back at this whole Twitch chat flying a plane thing as the moment when things started to change, you know?
Yeah, like the spark that ignited a revolution or something.
Exactly. It might sound crazy, but hey, stranger things have happened.
Well, there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of crowdsourced flying collective intelligence and the crazy things that can happen when you unleash Twitch chat on a video game.
And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning. Maybe we're on the verge of unlocking the true power of collective intelligence.
And if that's the case, well, the future's looking pretty bright.
It is.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive. And be sure to check out DougDoug's video if you haven't already. It's definitely worth a watch.
It is. And until next time, keep those brains buzzing. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next big idea that changes the world.
That's all for us, folks. See you next time.